Hey everybody, Sean here from the Sci-Fi Model Guy, and welcome to Chapter 5 of the USS Reliant build from AMT. Folks, we have a really short video for you this time. It was a good natural stopping point, and I just wanted to kind of get to the next phase of the build, so we're just going to wrap up the nacelles on this one and just kind of take stock of where we are. So there's not going to be any follow-up comments or final thoughts or anything like that. I will give you a quick little view of the ship as she is right now. I think it was about like this last time, but I've taken off the mask there and it's looking good. Now I am having a little bit of a hard time with the shuttle bays. It's not coming out as nice as I can, so I'm going to have to try to attack that and figure it out. But otherwise, everything's looking pretty good. You can see here there's some mask around the impulse thing there, and that's just done. I'm going to do a little bit of touch up there and that, but we'll get into that another time when I record the actual video for this part where we are. But the ship's coming along really good. The roll bar is just about done. I finally got some paint in. I ran out of the insignia white, the Tamiya AS20, which we're using for the base color. I thought I had another can of it and I didn't, so I had to order it, and it took about a week to get here. So that's been kind of hampering at me a little bit. You know, it's always really hard when you don't have the supplies or materials that you need. So anyway, I got a couple cans of that and I'm ready to keep going. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy the video. Please like, subscribe, hit a comment in there. Let me know what you think. And I hope you like Dexter. You're going to see the dog Dexter in this video a little bit in the video. So hope you enjoy him. He's a really good boy, and he would appreciate it if you give him a like. If I can get a 100 likes on this video, I'll give him a snack. Well, I give him a snack anyway. But anyway, take care, everybody, and we will see you down the road. Okay, folks, moving on. We've got nacelles, and you can see, again, done a lot of work. I've put some resin parts in there. Really like these things here, and that was a bit of a bear. I will call attention to that in a moment, but before we do, you can see here there is some more solar res here. I put it around the edges there. Now, I only did that on 2 of these pieces. You notice I did not put solar res on these. Now, these ones have the wider ridges. Now, this is where the blue warp nacelle glow is going to come through. Now, we do have some photo edge that we're going to put on here, and I didn't want to put solar res down here because I'm not going to light block really over here. It's going to be really touchy. I still have to think about it and figure out how I'm going to attack it, but I just didn't want to put any solar res on here quite yet because light blocking on the edges may look really bad. So I'm holding off until I can really think about that and come to a decision. But I did fill in solar res here. Now, if you look, this little piece here, this trapezoid thing that you got going on the inside of the model, it's recessed. So you've got a raised part here, and then down here is a recessed part where this is. So again, there were corners in there. There's 90-degree angles where that was coming down and in a recessed area, and I do not want those little light leaks. I don't like those little lights that would be coming through right about here, and those are really annoying. So I did fill this in with solar res, and I will be light blocking this part. I still haven't painted it because it was hardening up earlier, but I went right to the edge where that grill is going to be. I just filled it in really nice. This stuff is very thick. It runs like real thick syrup, and I was able to fill it up slowly and harden it up. I did the same thing here with these photo etch pieces because you do have to take out this part on the original piece, and I gotta tell you, this was a pain, guys. These 4 pieces took me about 2.5 hours, and I got better at it as I went along, and I'll explain that in a little bit, but I will try to organize these in order of best to worst because a couple of them are nice, a couple of them could have been better. But needless to say, on the back side of all these, you can see we've got, you can see black there. Again, the same philosophy. So when I put these things in, I put the solar res down to create that nice barrier, and then just paint it on some black so we do not see any light coming through around the edges here. Now there's a little bit of glow coming from the outside of it, but but there's no real light leaks leaking through these edges. You can see I'm putting the light right behind there. You're not really seeing anything come through. You can do the same thing over here. You know, you're not seeing any bright lights like you might expect to see, and that's really cool. Again, total tribute to the solar res for that, because it fills the gaps. It allows you to put paint evenly, and it's really, really a good product to use for things like that, for light blocking. So keep that in mind. And again, I filled in these parts here with solar res. We'll be light blocking that. Now these parts here are just kind of a dark gray. I think maybe a rubber gray, German gray. I can't remember which. It's not black, but I did put solar res around here again because we do have a little bit of a groove running here, and I just filled that in so that the light blocking will have maximum effect, and I won't have any little light leaks where paint's running around and stuff like that. Okay, last piece to talk about on here, on these guys. Okay, so I've kind of dry fitted these two pieces together, and there is only one thing we did on here, which is going to be a light effect other than the glowing nacelle, is there's a strobe light back here. So let me just show you what I did to do that. So you have to drill a hole, and unfortunately these pieces, well, I don't know, fortunately, unfortunately, these are symmetrical, you know. So the hole is going to be half on one side of the piece and half on the other. So when you have to drill it while they're connected. So what I did here, I just took a little strip of tape, I dry fitted the thing, wrapped it around, just nice and snug, and that was it. And now I was able to drill a little hole in there. So if you're wondering, no, hello Thunder. If you're wondering, that one kind of scared me. Wow, it is still going. And the doggo is scared. Yeah, sorry about that. The Thunder scared the old Dexter here. So here he is. Here's Dexter. He has been having a hard night with all this thunder. You can see he's kind of looking around. He's nervous. You okay, buddy? You okay? Everybody loves you. Okay. Okay, sorry about that interruption, you guys. I've always wanted to kind of show Dexter on one of these things, but he's not out here with me very much. But tonight he is, because the thunder is making him a scaredy cat. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to show you that real quick. When I drill the hole through here, just get a piece of tape, dry fit it, hold it in there, and you'll get it in really good. Okay, that's about it. Now, there are, I think, maybe some lights on these tail fin things. I think some people make aftermarket parts for this. I didn't want to get into that. I couldn't find it. I was sticking just with the green strawberry stuff. And speaking, that's where we didn't get to. Let's talk a little bit about these pieces on the front of the nacelles there. Okay, I'm going to organize these worst to best and come right back. Okay, guys, here we are. We have these little 4 pieces here organized worst to least worst. And these were pretty much, I think, the order that I did them in. And you can see, as you will see here, I got progressively better at doing it. Now, on this one here, you may even be able to see the flaws in it from the distance that we are here. And I just bored out far too much material. So I'm going to have to go through and maybe fix that a little bit with some putty and everything. Nothing is unrecoverable, but what I learned by using this is these things are great. This thing cuts through plastic, through styrene like butter, like they say. It cuts through like butter. But here's the thing. I learned you don't want it to cut through like butter. You don't want to just slice through at a smooth pace, because when you get to the point where you're slicing through this stuff at a fast pace, what you're really doing is melting the plastic. And when you melt the plastic, it reforms. It cools off and reforms. And it wasn't ideal. So I am going to take more time with this. So if you're considering getting one of these, I definitely recommend it. I am so thrilled with this thing. This is a life changer for me. This one right here, it's about half the price of the most popular models. So far, this thing is working great, and it has a couple of features I like that the others don't offer. Now, the other ones might be better. But what I have learned was, if you get one of these, take your time. Work slowly. It works incredibly fast, and that is almost, you can get into trouble. Because it works so fast, you're like, oh my God, look how fast I'm doing this. I'm just cutting through like it's nothing. You still have to be careful. And I will do more practice with this. I will do more research, and I will try to put a good tutorial video on things I've learned about this thing. It's really cool. I really like it. It vibrates at 40,000 times per second, and it's just amazing. It's just an amazing tool. All of these things are pretty cool. So anyway, if you get one of these and you're doing it with this, please practice. Don't make the mistake I did, which is, you can see here, look at that top left corner. You can just see that gap. You can see that. I'm going to have to fix that. But when we take to the last one I did, much cleaner, much less gap. Let's show these side by side. Here's the bad one. Here's a good one. As more thunder comes in. And it's just night and day. Nothing unrecoverable. I did practice with this, you guys, so I was confident when I started, but as I worked with it, you can see almost in real time how I was getting better as time moved on. This is everything we've done so far. What we're looking at here, everyone, probably represents about 15 or 16 hours of work. It doesn't look like I've done much, but I've done quite a bit. A lot of preliminary work has been done. I still have a few decisions to make, but from now on, I pretty much have a clear course. There are a few things I need to decide on how to attack a couple of things, but I've got a good idea, and as I begin working with it and everything, things will start coming to bear. But I am super excited. We're at one of the cool phases here where we actually start to get to lay paint. I'm going to start light blocking on the inside. I'm going to start laying down the lights, coming up with a wiring plan, trying to do my best not to make a bird's nest as I want to do, and we'll see how much of an improvement we can make. But I am super excited. I really feel, you guys, like this model is a next level for me. I really have that feeling for that. I think I have learned a little bit with photo etch. I think I've done some good stuff. I've learned a little bit of things. Again, I'm still making some mistakes right here, right there. I'm still making some little premature decisions, wanting to do stuff too fast, too soon. But on the whole, I am really, really confident with this build, and I am super excited to have all of you with me, learning with me, letting me share my experience with you, share my learning with you, and hopefully we'll end up with a really nice build that I'm going to give away. So that's okay. We're going to document all that here. And I'm going to have a lot of fun on this journey, and I hope you do too. And with that, everybody, we will see you in the next video for the next chapter. I wish you well, and we'll see you down the road. Take care.